video, we'll be using stencils and transfers to take this simple wooden canvas from blah to farmhouse magic. For today's project, I used the Roycycled Treasures Stencil Farm Ledger, as well as a page out of the IOD Transfer Ephemeral Melange. Once my paint was all dry, I used a little low-tack painter's tape to attach my stencil to the front of my project. I've got it lined up kind of where I want it, and so I'm using a little dauber brush here. I like these because I feel like you can clean a lot of the paint off of it and get a really dry brush out of it to do the stenciling. I've tried using other stencil brushes too, and they're fine, but I feel like I have the best control of how much paint is on my brush when I use these little dauber brushes. What I want is for my image to just be kind of light and sporadic underneath. This is like a background. This ledger is going to kind of be a background for the transfer that I'm going to add, and so I don't want it to be real bold, and so I'm just really lightly putting it on, and you'll see that there are some places as I went along where I got it a little heavier than I'd hoped to, but we were able to solve all of that with a little bit of sanding in the end. And here it is. Here's what I came up with after I got it all stenciled on there. As you can see, I did move my stencil down to the bottom to get the bottom piece of this too, and you can see the little places in the middle there where I got just a touch heavy. So I'm gonna use a little bit of sandpaper and a little sanding block here and just pull some of that back and pay particular attention to those areas where I got a little heavy-handed with the brush. Now, I'm going to use my handy dandy little squirt bottle here and a little shop towel and clean up my dust from my sanding so that I have a nice clean surface that I can apply my transfer to. Now, I've pulled the backing off of my transfer, and I'm going to hover above my project until I have it lined up exactly where I want it. The beauty of these IOD transfers is they have that grid pattern on the transfer sheet, so you can really use that to line it up, make sure that you've got it straight, because once you lay your transfer down on the surface of your project, it adheres. So you really need to make sure that you have it lined up where you want it, because it is already stuck in place. You're committed at that point. Each one of the transfers comes with one of these handy dandy little transfer sticks. You'll find it in each one of your packages, and they are the prime tool to add these on. And these are the easiest transfers to use. I try to just pick up a corner and just get like a little air gap in there. And as soon as I see that my transfer is like clouding over, I know that it is adhered to my project below. So I just keep pulling up and then rubbing, pulling up and then rubbing, and it adheres really nicely and it goes very quickly. transfer all adhered, I'll pick my transfer sheet up, and I have this beautiful project below. I'll use that little transfer sheet to just burnish my project into place. I just want to make sure that all the edges, anything that might not be adhered perfectly, gets a little extra pressure added to it, and there we have it. All right, so I wanted my project to have just a little bit more grunge farmhousey feel to it. So I took a little artist brush and just the cap off of my FIFO bottle with my moss colored mud paint, and I just added a little bit of an edge to my project. And then I used my little shop towel to just wipe that back and kind of blend it in a little bit. I went around the entire edge of this, and I actually ended up adding a little extra in those corners where it kind of looked like, you know, this was like maybe an old catalog cover or something, and so the corners were extra rough. So I spent a little extra time on those corners just trying to get that feel. Okay, so I felt like I'd had enough paint on there, so I took my trusty little water bottle again and my very dirty shop towel by this point, and I just kind of blended those corners and those edges in, just to give it a more organic look. The beauty of this mud paint is it's clay based, and so it reactivates beautifully with water. So it's perfect for blending, it's perfect for water distressing. It's great if you like to add, you know, like a little bit of grunge and you want to just lighten it up a little bit with water, or you want to just give it kind of a different feel. It's great for that. Now, I could hardly stop myself. I got out a little gold gilding wax and just kind of hit these edges, you know, just like the high spots. I just want it to have like a real classy, pretty, I mean, these are gorgeous illustrations that are in these IOD transfers, and so I just couldn't help myself. I wanted to glam it up just a touch with some gold gilding wax. And this is it. This is how my project turned out. I love it. I think it's beautiful. If you've loved this project as much as I do, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and follow along for more tutorials on using IOD, Roycycled Treasures, and MudPaint products. See you next time.